Yo, what is good YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best small forwards in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM on a tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 10,000s, or we just hit 10K. Help me push towards the 11,000 subscriber mark on the channel. Appreciate all the support on the channel. We finally hit 10K. Huge accomplishment. Definitely one of those milestone marks on YouTube, so I really do appreciate all the support. But yeah, we're pushing towards 11,000 subscribers now, so if you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help us start that road to 11K. But without further ado, let's hop right into it. Don't have a ton of cards on this list, something like 22 or so. So if there are any small forwards that you'd like to hear my thoughts on that aren't on the list, feel free to leave a comment and I'll let you know what I think of those cards. And yeah, let's hop into it. So AK-47 is... he's fine. I mean, he's a 3-and-D. He doesn't have the best release in the world, but he's an elite defender. He does have half clamp breaker and quick first step. He's a solid card. He's going to be one of the best defensive small forwards in the game still. Not going to give you a ton offensively, but he will hit his open shots, and he can at least halfway create, which gives him at least a little bit of value on the offensive end of the court. Not the most versatile offensive player or anything like that, but a decent card. Danny Granger, I don't like his release. His release really does kill the card, and he's not an elite defender either. Two things that are very important for a small forward, so I don't think he's that great of a card. I think we can go C tier for him. Danny Manning, I'm going to put B tier. I don't love his release either, but he is 6'10". He is versatile. He does have good sigs. He's a very good slasher and a capable defender, so you can see that size, the defense, the versatility, and doesn't have a great release, but he doesn't need an elite release to still be a B tier small forward, in my opinion. Rodman, about the same thing, to be honest. Rodman, I think, is about the same as these guys. He's a great defensive card. Not a great offensive card, doesn't really have SIGs, doesn't have a top tier release, but he's going to be an elite defender, very good athlete, has decent size, at least player build wise. He is listed only like 6'7", but not a bad card, and he does deserve a spot. Semi-high on this list. I think Giannis, in all honesty, goes C tier, the pink diamond Giannis. I was never the biggest fan of this card, even when he was one of the best cards in the game. I just never enjoyed his release. On normal, it's just not good. I mean, it kills the card. He's still a good defender and a good slasher, but he has a very poor release, and I do not like that at all. The other Giannis, the Dark Matter Giannis, I don't know, because I think I'm going to get called crazy if I don't put him S tier, and looking at the small forwards that I have on this list, he probably is an S tier small forward, but I don't know, man. He doesn't do it for me at the small forward position. I just don't like... He's S tier. He's S tier, but I don't love the card. I think I'm weird when it comes to Giannis. I don't like his release, which I think is common, but I don't feel like he does quite enough defensively to make up for the fact that I don't like the release at times. I mean, he's a great defensive card. He's a great slasher, but the release, the fact, especially that he's a small forward and steps in from corners and doesn't shoot a lot of corner threes, really annoys me. But I do still think he's a good card, and I mean, he's still a great card for sure. So I gotta objectively put him in the S tier still. Jaden McDaniels, elite defender. Not the greatest release, but not horrible. He does have very good sigs. One of the best diamond cards in the game. Having a diamond all the way up in B tier is pretty great at this point. Jason Tatum, solid defender, solid slasher, solid movement, great, really good release. I like the release a lot, but he's not like elite at anything else. I don't think he's a next level great card, but I do think he's pretty decent. And I mean, he's probably the best card in C tier, but I don't think I can put him higher than C tier right now. Jonathan Isaac is a really easy S tier for me. I really like Jonathan Isaac a lot. I think he is an elite level small forward. Really, really good card. Huge fan of what he can give me on both ends of the court. I love his release. I think he's a very good slasher, has very nice dunk animations, and he's 6'11" with an elite release, or with elite defensive ability. So I think he's awesome. Like, I'm a huge fan of what Jonathan Isaac can give you on the court. So for me, he's a very easy S tier in my opinion. Josh Smith, I cannot stand his release. I think his release is so bad. With that being said, is he bad enough to go in the D tier? There aren't very many bad small forwards. I'm putting him D tier. We got to have a couple of guys in the D tier, and I think Josh Smith is one of them. Plain and simple. I hate his release. It is one of my least favorite releases that I've seen all year in my team. I don't know why, but it's so ugly. It's inconsistent. I just don't like it at all, and I think it's a very easy, at least for me. He kills the card completely. He's so good in other areas, but he's not good enough with that bad of a release to be any higher on this list. I'm sorry. He's going D tier. It's my opinion. Kawhi Leonard's also going D tier. Mediocre release. He's not as good defensively, animations wise, as he has been in previous years. Still a good defender, but I don't like the release. He doesn't create his own shot well. He's super mid as well. Definitely not, in my opinion, a high tier elite card at this point in my team. Unfortunately, I mean, it's another guy who in previous years has been an absolute beast, but kind of like Josh Smith has been a top tier card, but this year just isn't. It's just the way it is. KD's going to go, KD probably be B tier. I'm going to have to move a couple of these guys up to A tier, I think. We'll have to see, but I think KD goes B tier. I think he's good. I don't think he's great. I mean, he's got good size. He's got a decent release. His release even on quick isn't insane, but it's not bad. He's a solid defender, but not next level. He's just a pretty solid card all the way around. I think honestly, he and Tatum are very similar. So if I put Tatum in the C tier, I feel like I almost have to put KD C tier as well. So I'm going to go KD in the C tier. I think that's the fairest spot to put him. Larry Bird's an easy D tier. He's just bad. This card was never good. This was like the most almost disrespectful. The fact that they made him the trophy case reward. It's not as bad as making Trae Young a low of 40, but it's bad. I mean, Larry Bird did not deserve to be. I don't know. I think he's very, very bad at this point, but I don't think he should have been so much better. And he still should be. They should be putting an Evo on this card, but they haven't. So I don't know. LeBron James is S tier. He definitely is a top 5 small forward in the game. Definitely an absolute beast still. Good release, great sigs, great defender, great slasher, really good player build. He's a monster. Definitely a top tier shooting guard. I'm sorry, small forward. I'm going to put this Pfizer card, Marcus Pfizer, in the A tier. I think he's actually very good. I like his release a lot. He's a very capable defender, a decent shot creator. Does need some badges, but once you add those badges, he becomes a pretty complete card as well, and he has great size, small forward position. He's a great 3-and-D guy who's got really good athletic ability as well. Even though he's a pink diamond, I'm pretty high on him. I think he's an A tier guy. Another A tier guy is going to be Michael Porter Jr. I don't quite put him S tier, but I do think he's very good. I mean, he's a very good small forward for sure. Really good shot creator, has a nice release, capable defender, mostly because he is 6'10". The defensive badges and stats are pretty mid, but he holds his own in the defensive end of the court, and that's about all he has to do. Definitely a very good small forward, especially on the offensive end, and he goes A tier for me. S tier is going to be Mike Bantam. That's a pretty easy one. I think he's pretty obviously S tier. I agree. I think most people would agree that he does deserve to be in that S tier. Elite release, great size, great defender, really good slasher, great all-around animations, dribbling, dunking, all that stuff. He's a monster. Definitely a top tier card. Pascal Siakam's going to go on the exact same level as Dennis Rodman. I think he's not quite as good of a defender as Rodman, slightly better offensively. I don't like his release. It's not horrible though. He's not bad enough to go C tier. He's just, it's an ugly release, kind of like Marc Gasol. Still pretty fast, but definitely ugly. And yeah, not a huge fan. So gonna go B tier. He's not bad. He's just not great. Paul George, mediocre release, mediocre sigs. We need a new Paul George. We really need a Paul George that actually has like good sigs and a good release. We haven't gotten one all year. Even this 98 overall Paul George just isn't that good. Or maybe this is a 97, but I don't even know. He's not that good. He's not a very good card. Doesn't deserve to be any higher than D tier in my opinion. Gonna go Rudy Gay, high A. I think he's the best card in A tier, but I don't think I can quite put him S tier. I think he's very solid. I'm a big fan of Rudy Gay cards. He's got an awesome release. He's a very capable defender. His badges leave a little bit to be desired in all honesty, but they're not bad. I think he's very good. He's got good saves. He's got a good release. He's close to S tier, but I can't quite put him in the S tier. Still got to put Tim Thomas in the S tier in my personal opinion. I still think the shot creation ability that he gives you is so valuable being 6'10". It does help make up for the fact that he doesn't have the best defensive stats or badges at this point in the year, although the stats are pretty good. The badges are just kind of mediocre, but still one of the best offensive cards in the game in terms of his sigs, his release, and his offensive badges, and I think he's still an elite level card. So we're going to go S tier for him as well, and then we're going to put Zion in the C tier alongside KD and Tatum. I think that's the fairest spot for Big Z as well. Zion's just, he's not that good to be completely honest. He's got a decent release. I mean, he has the great base, but his upper's not good, which does hurt the release. He gets tired really easily, which is annoying. He's a tiny bit undersized, doesn't have the best player build in terms of height, but he does have a very wide player build, which does help him out. He gets a lot of rebounds. He's very athletic, obviously going to be a great slasher. Better interior player than most 6'7" guys, but still, I don't think he's elite. I think we got to go C tier for Zion at this point. So this is my tier list of the best small forwards currently in my team. Let me know what you think of my list down in the comment section down below. Again, if there's anybody I left off the list that you'd like to hear my thoughts on, feel free to leave a comment about that as well, and I'll get back to y'all as soon as possible. But that is going to do it for this video. Hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.